much stuff we couldn't get out. We didn't know where the exits were. We got lost a bit.
And now we have to do another show.
Well, so here we go. Today on the show, we're taking a look at Mercenaries, King Arthur, Call of Duty Finest Hour, and in Versus, it's NBA Street Volume 3 against NFL Street 2. Some of the games we look at on Reviews on the Run are intended for a mature audience. Please pay attention to each game's ESRB rating. All right, well, since we're at CES and there's so much cool home theater technology to look at and talk about, we thought we'd look at some very cinematic, very appropriate games for your home theater.
Yes.
First up, we're going to talk about, it's called Mercenaries.
Right.
It's developed by Pandemic, published by LucasArts. It's out for the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox. We looked at it on the PS2. It's basically a combination of the EA Strike series, that old helicopter sort of action game, mixed with a Grand Theft Auto kind of free-roaming playground type environment. It's actually called Playground of Destruction for a reason. The first one of these GTA 3 influence games that has like the first-person shooter type controls when you're out on foot. So it's just like you're jumping into a game of Max Payne or Halo or something.
Right.
You can hijack all like tanks and fast-moving jeeps, civilian cars, even sports cars, delivery trucks, even helicopters. You can jump in, and that's where it feels like a real strike game, because you can fly your chopper all over the place and you're just laying waste to all the bad guys. They've done an interesting thing here with the story. They've mixed it up so you have different factions on this futuristic sort of North Korean battlefield. And there's like the Chinese faction, the South Korean faction, the sort of U.S. military faction, even Russian mafia.
They also have a map on screen that shows you exactly where you need to go, you know, which is always good in a game like this. So you never feel like lost, even though you're in these big worlds.
And you get all kinds of bounty. I mean, the real goal of this game is to collect money for the amount of people that you kill, like bad guys that you kill, and the amount of carnage that you wreck, the amount of jeeps that you blow up, and all kinds of stuff. So it really is kind of a point-based action adventure, go anywhere type game.
There's a lot of different things you can do, similar to like in a Metal Gear Solid, but you don't have to go through a gazillion menus. They laid it out really simple.
Very intuitive.
So for example, you know, you have to call for backup to, oh, I've captured a guy, and then you'll hear the helicopter come in, great sound effects.
Awesome sound.
And then you have to like, you know, load the guy, pick the guy up, load him in the thing, and then you lay a smoke bomb down so that they know where to come and get you.
You can also laser target airstrikes.
You can call airstrikes in and stuff like that, but it's all very simple.
They've hired some top-notch voice actors. You actually have Carl Weathers is in this game. How
Give
cool
me
is
Apollo
that?
Creed?
Yeah, Apollo Creed.
Apollo Creed versus the Italian Stallion.
Doesn't sound anything
Sounds like
that.
a damn monster movie.
Doesn't sound anything like that in the game, but it's great to hear him. I loved Peter Stormare, who's like one of these character actors who's in tons of movies. He plays Matthias Nilsson, the big Swedish guy. He's awesome. He sounds very cool. But can I talk about graphics on the PlayStation 2?
I know. It looks like an Xbox game, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's one of the best, if not the best looking PlayStation 2 game I've ever seen.
It's clean.
The frame rate is solid. The fire and explosion effects are incredible. You'll be shooting at Jeeps and they'll take off out into the air like 100 feet. You know, it's really, really cool. Very clever stuff.
Now the physics when you drive some of the vehicles are a little, you know, on the flimsy side as far as, you know,
it's just
things
accessible.
turn over really easy, but it makes it more fun to play.
Absolutely. It would have been nice to have some online gameplay and some multiplayer stuff in this one. I mean, it feels closer almost in fact to like a Halo type experience than a Grand Theft Auto experience in some ways, and definitely it's not as deep and as big as Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, but if you love games like that and you love games like Halo, you're going to really enjoy Mercenaries. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10.
I'm giving it an 8.5.
On the positive side, you have dozens of great vehicles to drive around in this game. The visuals in this thing are outstanding on either system, the Xbox, but very impressed by the PlayStation 2. And even though there's a ton of things to do in this game, it never becomes overly complicated.
On the negative side, some of the vehicle physics are a little whacked. And Vic would have liked to have seen some online or multiplayer action, although it didn't bug me that much.
All right, stick around, you guys. We're coming right back with a review of King Arthur.
Hey, if you're a fan of Disney movies like I am, you're still watching them even though you're way too old and you thought you grew out of them like me. Okay, this isn't true confessions. You probably enjoyed Kingdom Hearts when it was out on the PlayStation 2. Of course, Kingdom Hearts 2 is coming very soon. But in the meantime, Square Enix has Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories for the Game Boy Advance. And what they've done here, it's not exactly the same experience as Kingdom Hearts was on the PlayStation 2. It's card combat. But don't get freaked out. You do battle guys in real time, and it is quite a bit of fun. If you're a fan of Disney, you're going to see lots of characters that you know and love. You know, lots of great little surprises in there. If you're a fan of the PS2 game and you have a DS or a GBA, you owe yourself to take a look at Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. I'm giving it an 8.5 out of 10. I probably would have given it a bit of a higher score if it was just straight action adventure, hack and slash gameplay. I have a little more fun with that than the cards. All right, we are back, and we're going to talk now about a game based on an Anton Fuqua movie.
Who?
It's
hey, you keep that language to yourself,
he's
buddy.
a
We
director.
can't say those stuff on
It's
TV.
King Arthur. It was developed by Chrome out of Australia, published by Konami. And what did you think of this one?
Well, all I know is it had Keira Knightley in the movie, so...
Keira Knightley is in the movie.
Yes.
Yes, and she looks just like Princess Amidala.
Isn't that weird?
I know.
She looks exactly
Like
her.
Natalie Portman.
Now, the movie was kind of so-so. It was kind of a big production. It was okay.
Yeah, it was
so-
like a kind of a new take on the whole King Arthur legend. It was supposed to be
Right.
the more realistic take.
Right, but I was really, really impressed with this game
Right.
and the way it followed the storyline to that movie to a T, and I wish more movie-to-translation games did this, like Lord of the Rings
Yeah,
did.
I think they looked at the way and how successful EA had been with Lord of the Rings, and they said, hey, we can do something like that, where they have transitions from the film in motion going right to game art, sort of finishing off scenes and things like that, and then
Right.
that leads right into gameplay. Very clever, very well handled, and looks phenomenal. It's a
That was
great
the
looking
thing,
game.
is that the presentation in this game is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. What I liked is there's a lot of horseback stuff in the movie. We always saw Lancelot and Arthur fighting on horses.
Right.
There's levels in this game where you're actually on a
That is
horse
cool.
fighting, and they did an excellent job of the controlling of the horse.
You can kick backwards or
You can
trample
smack down,
over people.
smack down doors
Yep.
with the thing. I love, you want to know my favorite part?
What's that?
Is when sometimes there's this great water, stream kind
The
of
water
stuff.
looks terrific.
It looks
Water
great.
looks really good in
But
this game.
even better,
Yeah.
if you hack and slash a guy and you kill him and he falls in the water, his body actually starts to go downstream
cool.
and floats.
You get hordes of bad guys to beat up on, too. They keep coming from every direction. There's sort of bigger boss-type bad guys as well. We have to go in with combo attacks. You have your light and your medium and your hard attacks.
Yep.
And the
there's
bow
super-
and arrows gets a little bit more aggressive as you go through. Each of the different characters that you get to play, it's not just King Arthur and
No.
Lancelot. You get other characters as well. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses and abilities. And, you know, it's very reminiscent of what EA has done with Lord of the Rings, but that's not a bad thing. We love those games.
Well, I mean, I gave that game a 10
Right,
back
Return of the
then.
King one, yeah.
And this one, you know, again, it doesn't have the highest production quality as
Pretty
EA
darn
put in
good.
that.
Love
it's,
the music
but it's
as well.
really good.
The
Yeah, and it's
music
all
is
original
awesome.
stuff.
I do think that it gets a bit repetitive because you're just constantly just dealing with
No,
the bad
but then
guys.
sometimes you're on a horse, sometimes you're protecting a guy.
Yeah, but
sometimes it's not the same thing over and
It
over.
feels like it. Even though
No,
there is a
not at
bunch of
all.
variety in the combat,
more
it does feel like you're doing the same
because
types
the
of
more
combat
the
again.
more you play the game and the longer you
can
play
level
into
up.
the game, it gets going, it gets good, and the leveling up
There
is
is
all
something
very
to be
easy.
said about the production design and the battling of
It's
orcs
awesome.
and characters in Lord of the Rings that compels you, even though that gameplay is repetitive too. I enjoyed the experience of that gameplay. Now there is some co-op play, so you can play with another person.
That's
There's no
right.
online play, but it's fun to play with somebody else. It gets a little bit too difficult sometimes when you're all out there all by your lonesome, so it's nice to have somebody else in there. It's a decent game. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 9. I love these games. On the positive side, the production quality in this game is phenomenal. It's a really fun and simple hack and slash if you're into that, and you get to do sword fighting on a horse.
On the negative side, although this game is good, it's just not as cool as The Lord of the Rings. The hacking and slashing does get a little bit tiresome after a while. And it would have been nice if you could have played co-op over the internet. All right, you guys, we're not done here at CES. Stick around. We're coming right back with a look at Call of Duty Finest Hour.
Games seriously.
Hey guys, I found a very cool buried treasure here at EB Games. This is Sega Soccer Slam. It came out for the Xbox, but also for the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube. And it's a great arcade soccer experience. Now I know FIFA Street is out there right now. It's getting all kinds of hype. But Sega actually did a very cool arcade experience before this FIFA Street game. And what was interesting about this were all the crazy characters that they collected for this game. Lots of over-the-top kind of stereotypes from an international community. What was very fun about this game is that it was so easy to pick up and play. Anybody could just jump right in. The pace of the game was fantastic. If you had the skills, you could do some really cool setup spotlight shots where there would actually be a spotlight come down from above and find your player, and you'd be doing all these awesome over-the-head scissor kicks and stuff. It's only 3-on-3. It's not very difficult. You don't have to know the whole rules of soccer to enjoy this experience. If you're looking for a great-looking, great playing, great sounding soccer experience, arcade style, you got to pick up Sega Soccer Slam.
Look at these plasma screens, man. That's incredible. There's so much stuff here I'm going to buy. I'm going to be broke by the end of the year. It's crazy. All right, we're going to talk now about Call of Duty Finest Hour. This is the console version of the super hot World War II shooter, Call of Duty. This was available for all the consoles from Activision. What do you think of Call of Duty Finest Hour?
I absolutely loved this game. What was so amazing about Call of Duty on the PC was the fact that it drew you into the experience.
Right.
And anytime a game can do that, can really put you there with the use of the audio and the music and the voiceovers.
I agree. I'm starting to get a little sick and tired of the World War II
thing. He's getting sick of
thing.
emotion?
I'm getting sick of the same, world that we're entering, the same kinds of weapons, the same kinds of actions. We get the sniper mode, we get the on top of the on the Jeep, and you get the machine gun mode, and you get the driving the tank. I mean, I was really not impressed by the online mode of this game. I mean, the visuals take a noticeable hit. It doesn't feel as fluid and as smooth, and you just can't do as many. It's definitely nowhere near the quality, the multiplayer quality of what we're seeing in Rainbow Six or Halo 2. There is some real meat to this title, definitely.
I like how the first mission, it's not just about like being a first-person shooter, which most games like Wolfenstein, that's all you're pretty much doing.
Right.
In this game, like the first thing, you land on the beach, you don't even have a weapon.
Right.
And you have to basically follow this guy around, like follow me, and you're following
you get
this
handed
guy,
some ammunition.
and people are getting picked off all around you. They create these cinematic moments within the game.
Yeah.
Like there's this one part even towards the front of the game where you see just massive amounts of people.
Beautiful scripting, absolutely.
Massive amounts of soldiers, and they're all gathering in a group, and there's a guy, and they're behind a wall, and they're about to attack the machine gun, and the guy's trying to give them like a pep talk and everything, and you see them just all charge, and your guy's like, wait, hold on, I know a better way. Those guys are gonna run right into the enemy fire.
It's good storytelling. It brings you in.
Oh
yeah,
my God,
it does.
What the hell?
But there is too much scripting in terms of how the enemies react and die and pop out in the same places. And, I had a problem throwing the grenades properly. I'm going to give Call of Duty Finest Hour 7.5 out of 10.
Wow, way crazy. I'm giving it a 9. On the positive side, this game absolutely draws you into the emotional experience. The sound design, voices, and music are extraordinary, and the graphics are amazing.
On the negative side, the online play on the PlayStation 2 and Xbox versions is a little bit of a disappointment. At this stage, there's been so many World War II shooters, it's starting to feel very crowded. And overall, it's just not as robust an experience as Call of Duty on the PC. All right, you guys, we're here at CES, and one of the big things about CES 2005 is the debut of Sony's PSP. We've seen it, we've played some games, we understand this hardware. We're going to tell you whether we recommend it or not. What'd you think of Sony's PSP, the PlayStation Portable?
This screen, the 16:9 widescreen, unbelievable clarity.
It almost looks like it's all screen. It almost looks like you're just picking up a screen, and that's what you're playing the game off just a screen. It's really crazy.
I mean, the slick design, the sleekness of the design is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it also has a music mode. You can do movies on this as well. So you can be taking movies on your Sony camera, whatever, put them on the memory stick, boom, they're right there.
And a lot of the studios and stuff are going to be making UMD, which is the disc format that goes into the Sony PlayStation Portable.
And,
they're going to be putting movies out on that.
And the quality and the clarity of the movie trailers
we saw some movie
trailers,
unbelievable.
Was perfect.
Yeah.
It also has a picture mode as well.
So you can look at all your photos.
Tons of photos, and they have different
handy.
slideshow projection stuff. And then, of course, oh yeah, we forgot
games.
There's games as well.
And we've seen a bunch of games on this thing.
There's 100 games in development right now.
So we're going to see a lot of games.
You're going to see about 10 games on launch for the thing. It does have a little analog stick on there.
That's right.
It's no, joystick that tilts back and forth.
A little disappointed by the analog control.
It's more, but it's, it's there.
If you're running everything at the highest visual settings, super 3D, like a Ridge Racer, where it's spinning off the disc all the time, your battery life's going to go down about 3.5 hours. But even that is very impressive.
It's important to say, the average is 5 to 6 hours for games, and without games, with all the other stuff, movies and music and everything, it goes up to 11 hours. It's phenomenal. So I'm absolutely going to recommend the Sony PSP.
Yep, me too. Recommending the Sony PSP. Fantastic product. On the positive side, on the PSP, you can play your movies, your games, your music. You can look at your photos. This is an unbelievable device. You've got the best-looking video games we've ever seen on a handheld system in the history of this industry. The screen is amazing, and the device itself looks so freaking cool.
On the negative side, some people may have some concerns about the battery life, but hey, just get another battery. Although it's cool it has an analog stick, wasn't really as cool as we thought it was going to be.
All right, you guys, stick around. We're coming right back with 2 Street games. It's NFL Street 2 versus NBA Street Volume 3, right after the break. Welcome to the Hit List. Here are 5 of our favorite cel-shaded games. Number 1 is Sly 2 Band of Thieves. Number 2, Beautiful Joe 2. Number 3, Kingdom Hearts. Number 4, 13. And number 5, Dragon's Lair 3D. All right, guys, we've got a very cool versus for you today, and we know it's a little bit weird because we're comparing basketball to football, but they're the 2 street
kind of
games.
versus is this?
I know, it's a bit strange. This is NFL Street 2 versus NBA Street Volume 3.
Ran out of ideas, did you?
No, I thought it was pretty cool to just sort of compare how EA is doing both of their huge street franchises. And these games are available for all 3 platforms. We took a look at them on the PlayStation 2. So what did you think about the graphics for these 2 games?
Well, I thought NBA Street was the better looking game.
Yeah.
They were both really good, but the lighting, I think...
And the fisheye camera angles and
Yeah.
all the different background elements in NBA Street. Very,
Really
very
good.
impressive.
And NBA Street, I thought, had a lot more, animations.
Oh, yeah.
Better animations
Absolutely.
and stuff like that. Whereas NFL Street, which again was really good graphically, it just seemed to be a little more limited.
But I loved what EA did with the design aesthetic of NFL Street. It's just a carryover from what they did in the last NFL Street game, which wasn't that long ago.
No.
But I loved like the loading screens. Everything looks like hand painted. It looks like artwork, man. I really enjoyed the whole style and presentation around NFL Street. And NBA Street also has an incredible flashy aesthetic.
Same kind of deal.
I think if you're just taking a quick snapshot look at the graphic department,
NBA.
yeah, NBA Street looks a little bit better,
Yep.
for sure. So how do you think these games compared in the audio department?
So in NBA Street, you do have, the hardcore kind of street rap vibe going on.
Yep.
But I'll tell you something, what annoyed the hell out of me
Yeah.
was the announcer and the
cucumber
street...
slice?
Vancouver, this is DJ Cucumber Slice. Right back at you.
They put reverb on his voice on every single chord.
Right.
Even when you're outside, it sounds like he has reverb.
Yeah, he's got
What's
it over
going
a
on
PA.
there?
He's yelling out over a PA.
It didn't sound like that.
I
they
like
should have
it.
recorded him over a PA.
I like the
It was-
audio
it was annoying.
of Street. I
The
like the voice
best-
stuff. I thought that was really cool.
The better voice stuff, though, is in the career mode
Right.
in NFL. Because, those voices and dialogue and script writing, you can tell is a lot better.
I loved all the
a lot
interplay
more
between the
natural.
different characters
A
in
lot
NFL
more
Street. I thought
natural.
that was really cool. I like the music in both games. I thought EA Tracks is doing an amazing job getting all of these artists into these games. I thought both games sounded really, really good. If I had to pick one,
that I enjoyed the audio for more, I would have to go with NBA Street.
I'd go way on NFL because of the great voice acting, and NBA had the annoying guy.
Okay, gameplay-wise, most important category here.
Yes.
What'd you think?
NFL Street is this amazingly in-depth career mode and
For a
different
street
modes.
arcade football type of game,
Yes.
I agree with you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, EA's kind of bringing that whole, in-depth Madden play, but it's not like Madden, but
No.
it's as in-depth as
Very
that
accessible.
to a street arcade game.
Yeah, I mean, you have one-on-one type sort of challenges, and you have to, get away from a defender for a while. There's this sort of tag mode where you run from 4 other people chasing you or 5 other people chasing you the whole time, whoever has the ball. There's a bunch of these really cool little challenges, like mini games,
Right.
scattered throughout the game. Whereas in
in basketball,
NBA
that's
Street,
that's all you get.
well, you get the
the
3-on-3 game,
3-on-3.
and there's a slam dunk contest.
Well, the slam dunk.
And
right.
when you go through sort of the career mode in NBA Street, you get different challenges, but it's all pretty much the same 3-on-3 type modes. You may have to get you may have to win the game by only dunking or by only getting outside shots, but it doesn't. You're right. It doesn't have the same.
It's just an arcade basketball game.
I got to tell you, I've played 2 other great iterations of NBA Street in the past. I've enjoyed them. I've had a lot of fun with them, and I played this new one. I was like, yeah, this is amazing. It looks fantastic, but I tired of it a little sooner than NFL Street 2, which I thought, although the improvements to that game aren't massive from the last one,
But it does have a lot more
bit more
in-depth.
fresh. And also, the thing that I thought was very surprising about that, I played years of Blitz football, NFL Blitz from Midway, but I like NFL Street better than all of the Blitz games that I played in the past.
Well,
it's as good as the...
To be fair, EA completely ripped off Blitz.
Absolutely. But this
and
game...
we won't be seeing any more NFL Blitz games thanks to EA.
That's true.
Taking the NFL license, stealing
Not
the
cool.
NFL license from everyone else.
They bought it fair and square.
They did buy it.
The NFL sold it fair and square on both platforms. What are you going to give NFL Street 2?
I'm giving it a 7.5.
I liked it much more than that. I'm going to give it a 9. And what are you going to give NBA Street Volume 3?
I'm giving that a 7.
8.5 for me. So there you have it, 2 new Street games. Both of them are good, but Tommy and I preferred NFL Street 2. Today on the show, we took a look at Mercenaries. This is an incredible looking game with a lot of variety, but it's missing some online or multiplayer gameplay. King Arthur. We really enjoyed getting into combat while riding a horse, but the hack and slashing gameplay does get a bit boring after a while. Call of Duty Finest Hour. Great cinematic presentation in this World War II shooter, but the PC Call of Duty is just way more satisfying. In Versus, it was NBA Street Volume 3, which is a slick-looking hoops game with some slightly repetitive gameplay, against NFL Street 2, which is a great-looking arcade football game with a nice mix of challenges. Both of these EA big games are great, but we like football a little bit more this year.
They tell you how to do it, but you have to basically apprehend. We
have a guy tap dancing behind us. We've never had tap dancing on our show before.
Well,
It's for you, baby.